me DJ Rasheed. I'm right here with my man Van, Tash, and Hush. It's the Big Dookie Chain. You know what it is, podcast. What up, though?
What's going on? It's Van Styles. To my left is Tash, and we have Hush behind the cameras. Then we got the heavyweight DJ Rasheed in the place to be, joining us as our special guest this Friday.
What up,
the motherfucking OG. So when I talk to the OGs in Boston, the Boston say that you're the big OG.
Man, listen, man, I'm the big OG.
So Hush, how old do you think this man is right here? How old do you think this man is?
I'm 35. I'm 45.
40. See what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
Tell us how old you are.
Crazy.
And I'm gonna tell why, because you blew my mind when you were talking about
when we was talking.
you was talking about how you were on tour in '84.
Right. We was right.
And I'm talking about how fucking old are you?
So I'm 57 right now.
See that shit?
Which is crazy.
I'm 57.
I said maybe 50.
Hip hop just had its 50th anniversary.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
you've been around 7 years more than hip hop.
He's been around long enough to like actually be at the beginning of hip hop and be like old enough to actually take part in it.
Exactly.
And
Because we're sitting with actual like for the times that I've checked in. You sent me that little thing, but I went and checked with a few people that like have a little pull around the city about who you were a little bit, and everybody nothing but good things to say. Straight OG and one of the originators of all this shit.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, you've been in the game for what, 35 years?
Yeah, man.
That's fucking crazy.
well, and I need to point out to you that his boyish good looks got him a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old. So he's got a second family.
Yeah, I got a 5-year-old right now and a 9-year-old.
5-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Congratulations on that. But we're sitting with like, we had Dart Adams in here, right?
Yeah.
It was like hip hop history. I'm sure you know who Dart Adams is. Hip hop historian, like Boston historian. We're actually sitting with another one of those right there.
I know.
But
I'm excited.
But he's actually part of most of the stories, which is kind of insane. So I know people might not know who DJ Rasheed is. Not everybody, right?
Right.
But everybody knows what you've had your hand in.
Yes.
So what I'd like to do is start at the beginning. Boston hip hop. Just how do you start music?
Man.
Like where does it begin for you, man?
So for me, it started when I was real young. So basically, my mom.
What years are we talking?
Which man, I was about like 3-4 years old at this time. My mom was dating a gentleman from the band Rufus, which is Shaka Khan's band. Okay. And so at this time, and now we come from the Ruggles Street housing development. That's Roxbury, right? So when we're at Orchard Park's right up the street, Mission Hill's right over here, Northeastern University and all that, right? So my mom, we would be on the road with them all the time. So it already started when I was like 3-4 years old.
So you're on the road with Shaka Khan.
So we was on the road with Shaka Khan, right? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause my mother's dating, one of the lead guitar players from Rufus, right? So we on the road. Now, at this time coming up, I'm playing pots and pans in my grandmother's house, all that, the regular stuff. My mom's playing records like Heat Wave, you know what I'm saying, Bloodstone, OJ's, Temptations, Whispers, the regular. That's inside your home. You're in the, you in the projects, you know what I mean? Your mother's playing the roof, she clean the house, whatever the case may be, cool. Now, at this time, it started for me as I started becoming into my own, being, young, 12, 13 years old, right? I had a good friend who basically, I got to give him his props because he seasoned us when we came out. So now,
your age or older?
No. So he was a little older than me.
Okay, I was like, is this a Papa Wu situation?
Well, basically, this young man seasoned us because he taught us the choreography and vocal training at this time.
So what year are we talking?
We're talking about this is like the late 70s.
Late 70s. So hip hop really isn't even
right. This hip hop's not even here yet. So this is the late.
Kool Herc has not gone to the park yet.
He ain't gone to the park yet. This is
fucking crazy. When you
I know it is. Wow.
This is the late 70s, right? So now, mind you, we're in the projects. It's the late 70s. We're thinking about a name, what we're gonna use, right? And we come up with the name, got the name The Superiors, right? So we got the name. It's late 70s. Now we're young. We're young. We're practicing in the hallways of the projects, right?
Yeah.
Now you're talking about, because now stereo systems then, right? Your mother had that big system, right? And you're playing, you got speeds like 78 and all that, and you got the changer, right? You You know what I'm saying? So you're like, oh man, hold on, what's going on here, right? So now, basically, we're rehearsing inside the Project Hallways. So my man Greg Williams, gotta give him his props, was our first choreographer and vocal coach, right?
So you guys are like a boy band, almost.
We were a boy band, right? This at this time, late 70s, going into the 80s.
Well, it's just a group of friends.
So this is a group of friends.
Yeah.
We're not professional yet.
Yeah.
Right? We're rehearsing, doing what we do, and love what we do. Our first actual microphones came from Ray Burns. So basically, where you guys had your studio on Huntington Avenue, over that side, next door to that,
talking about the undergroundhiphop.com,
right, was Ray Burns Music,
right next to it,
which was actually originally by Symphony Hall on Huntington Avenue. Okay, so where we first got our first microphones, right? And we took our microphone stands, weren't these microphone stands. There was a train, I believe that was a commuter rail back then that would run through Northeastern University in Mission Hill, right?
Yeah.
There was a stop over there, man, they wasn't using it no more. I guess where Northeastern is, Gainsborough Street, they used to have these old hanging lights, right? So we actually took those poles in the base where the light would go in and use those for microphone stands, because this part here, you could click on it, right? Screw it on, right? So this was our very first microphone stand, right? And we got these little cheap ass mics from Ray Burns, right? Yeah. First mics. So now we're doing our choreography. We're giving shows in the basement in the project.
And you're just you're teenagers?
Teenagers, right? Yeah. We're like 11, 12 years old, 13 years old. We're selling popcorn. We got suits on, man, juice. We got milk crates lined up, man. People coming to see our shows, man, down in the basement in the project, right? So we had a young lady by the name of Deborah Green and Victor Owens, who were like the first promoters, right? They're putting on talent shows everywhere, right? So we're down there, man. We're having fun doing what we're doing. This is our first, and we're just doing music off of records. I was gonna ask, off of records. This is not. We're not in the studio at this time. No, nothing. We're just doing stuff from Michael Jackson or the OJs, the Whispers, stuff like that.
Can I ask the most ignorant shit?
Go ahead.
Were cassettes around yet?
Cassettes were around.
Okay.
Cassettes were around. So at this time we had basically we would make our mixes, our medleys, right? We were pause mix. Okay. Right? So you had the stereo on top, right? You had the record player on top, and you had the tape deck right here. And Greg would actually put all our music together on pause mix, right? Cool, no problem. And we was actually doing shows, man. So now, at this time, as we getting into the 80s, now we're talking about, because hip hop is a whole nother situation by the time we get there. Now you're talking about Friday night live, Friday night videos at this time, because you didn't have MTV, right? So we're watching like Michael Jackson on Friday, I believe it was like Friday Night Live, Friday night videos that they had, right? Only thing that you had. So we're like, man. But now we're watching, imitating everything that's going on there. We're doing talent shows. We're doing talent shows like in Mission Hill, at the Trotter. We're doing at this time, there was this local talent shows going on. Everyone would put them on, right? So it was cool. So now at this time, Greg Williams, he seasoned us. He's teaching us actual choreography, right? Training our voice and everything, singing the whole nine. He was good. Now, at this time, as we're moving forward, he's getting a little older, and now he wants to move forward, and he wants to get his own group. So, like, okay. So what happens is it's about, at this time now, where it's about like 1982. 1982.
Something's happening in 82, I got to just point out. Ian Van Styles is being born. Thank you.
So at this time, 1982, we're coming into our own. Greg wants to start his own group. He's getting older. He wants to do other things. We're like, all right, cool, no problem. At this time, a few weeks after he announced that he wanted to do his own group, RBB is on the air, 104.9 WRBB. You got Skeeter over there. You know, you got Rusty, Wallace T, all these people over at WRBB at Northeastern University. You
That's
got the
Rusty, Funky Fresh Records, Rusty?
Right.
Okay.
So you got the L Center, right? So at this time, we hear Candy Girl on the radio at WRBB, right? So now at this time, this is when New Edition, right? So we were like, who the fuck, who's this? Candy Girl, we don't say New Edition, whatever case may be. Who's this? Now, a week after that, I'm coming through Madison Park. I see all these kids, man, and dudes with black Streetwise Records jackets on and everything else. I'm like, who's this? Who this? But this was New Edition. I didn't know it at the time. So we're at Madison Park. They got this tall black dude over there, man, with these guys. They got some bodyguards, whatever. So I'm like,
are they same age then?
So at this time, we're all the same ages. Everyone's young. So, like, man, who that? But come to find out, it was New Edition. I didn't know at the time that my uncle had the label Streetwise Records and that he had produced Candy Girl and the whole nine.
So
how did you not?
How did if you're doing all this work, constantly improving, getting coach, choreography, vocals, and your uncle doesn't tell you that he has a record company?
So mind you, we're just
and not only that, he's making fucking Candy Girl.
So
which is one of the biggest fucking
records, exactly.
Ever.
But what happens is, so my cousin Bobby, aka the Plug B Hill, his father is Maurice's brother. Slime, God rest his soul. One of the biggest promotion marketing gurus ever, right? Slime was in there. So mind you, they're the Johnson crew. So we can get into that because now Johnson crew, that's the beginning of hip hop.
I just want everyone that's watching this right now. We crossed over real fast.
Yeah, we skipped something.
Yeah, like so. Your uncle Maurice
Starr
is Maurice Starr.
Yeah, I know. Were we just gonna skate by that?
We'll get it. We're getting to the new kid stuff, but now he's discovering New Edition.
He's discovering New Edition at
and
this
not
time.
telling you.
So,
which is fucked up.
But this what's crazy is that at that time we're young, so we're really not in that mix over there what they're doing because they're doing adult shit. You know what I'm saying? They're over there at the House of Hits and all that. But you know what I'm saying? My family, we're over here. So,
but he just signed a group that was your same age.
This was so at this time, we're not. So they're over there. They're over like Fort Hill. They're at the House of Hits over that side. We're in Ruggles, right?
What's House of Hits?
The House of Hits was their studio. That was their home and the studio, that recording studio, right? That's where everyone would go to record.
And it was in Fort Hill because I used to live in Fort Hill.
Up there in Fort Hill on that side, right? So at this time, mind you, I have no idea, right? I have no idea that this is all family. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know how you got
that's blowing my mind.
It's crazy, right?
Because you want to do the same thing.
It's the same thing, but you got family members that they're already in the business.
Yeah.
Right? So now, mind you, so when we started out, we're doing all this. It's already in our blood.
Nobody was like, hey, your Uncle Maurice fucking owns a record company.
No, because at the time, that was just coming up, you know, that was just building.
Right.
So by me seeing New Edition, and we're hearing New Edition on WRBB, this is the same shit we're doing. Now, mind you, here we go. Talent shows. Everyone's doing talent shows around the city. So at this time, Greg turns around. I told you he wants to go get his own group. So my grandmother, God rest her soul, I say to her, I said, Ma, listen, I think I'm gonna disband the group. I don't think we're gonna even go further. The hell with this, you know what I'm saying? Forget it. She said, no, don't do that. Why would you do that? So I say, her best friend is Miss Bragg, which was my kindergarten teacher back in the day, right? Okay. So she says, listen, I'm going to set up a meeting for you. I was like, well, who? She says, I'm going to set up a meeting. Just bring the group. I'm going to set up a meeting with you. Y'all put on a show because we used to rehearse at St. Francis de Sales across the street from Ruggles Street Project. She said, I'm going to set up a meeting with you with Travis. So I'm like, who the fuck is Travis? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Ma, who's Travis, Ma? She said, that's Miss Bragg. She said, that's Linda's husband. Right? I was like, okay, Ma, whatever. Come to find out, like I was telling you earlier, I see this tall black dude. They got the Streetwise Record jackets on. I don't even know this is New Edition. Well, come to find out, she puts the audition together for my group with Travis, who's managing New Edition, who was Linda's husband at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, along with Brooke Payne. So at this time, I'm like, Ma, okay, fine, no problem. So at this time, I tell the fellas, yo, listen, man, we ready to get an audition, man, with Travis Gresham. He's the manager for New Edition. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, cool, no problem. All right, let's make it happen. So at this time, we set up a show at St. Francis de Sales. It's a big show for, the community to come out, man, because we was always doing talent shows over here. But at this time, Travis Gresham comes out with Steve Manning from California. Now, Steve Manning was Michael Jackson's, he handled all his publishing. He was a publicist. So he handled everything for Michael Jackson. So Steve Manning was a big deal. So they come out to see us.
Yeah, in the 80s.
This
handling business for Michael Jackson in the 80s.
So he's handling business.
There's literally no bigger fucking deal, like in music, maybe, like ever. Like,
and now, mind
Michael
you,
Jackson in the 80s might have been the biggest musician ever in the history of music.
And mind you, where I'm watching Michael Jackson on Friday Night Live on the, on the video. That's the first video station like you really seen, right? So I'm doing that. So now we go to Miss Bragg's house. Travis calls us in for a meeting and said, yo, come on down. So now, mind you, this is where things get crazy.
Yeah. This is where things get crazy.
This is where things get crazy because now, mind you, remember we had a choreographer that was with us, seasoned us. Yep. Respectfully, I love him to death. He seasoned us. He got us ready for what we went to do. So we go have the meeting. I believe that this time New Edition and Brooke was over in London. Travis was on the phone with them, and he was telling them, listen, I'm getting ready to audition. I got a new group, Superiors, such and such, whatever case may be. All right, cool. We get signed right there on the dot. So now at this time, he's like, I'm signing y'all. We're going to manage you all, and then I'm going to bring Maurice in. Now, Maurice is my uncle. So now at this time, I'm like, okay. So my uncle comes in. We're like, what? Like, yeah, man. Like, he's getting ready to produce all these records for y'all. We're getting ready to do this, such and such, and y'all getting ready to do a record deal. I'm like, what? So we don't even believe this. And we're like, what? This is crazy. This is moving fast. We have the audition. We get the deal. So now we find out who we're gonna get signed with. So now at this time, we get signed with Critique Records. Critique Records was based in Reading, Mass. So they had artists like Kim Fields on there, Tag Team. You know what I'm saying? Whoop, there it is. They was on this label,
which was also a giant fucking record.
It's crazy,
giant record,
right? So at this,
hold on, do you know what Whoop There It Is means?
Oh,
what does it mean?
So Tag Team were DJs in the strip club. So Whoop There It Is when the stripper would bend over and her pussy would pop out the back. Whoop, there it is. So now anytime you hear someone sing that shit,
I like that.
Just
I like that.
That's what it is.
And what was crazy, so all this is happening at this time.
I love telling people that.
I know.
So fast.
It's
crazy,
gold.
crazy.
Old ladies and shit.
Yeah, I know.
There it is. They bend over. That's crazy. So, I mean, at this time we're real excited about what's going on. We turn around, we're doing shows, we're going to Madison Park. But mind you, remember, now my uncle started the first Hollywood Talent Night. And so that's how New Edition had got discovered. We didn't, at this time, we wasn't part of that Hollywood Talent Night.
You keep talking about talent shows, and I'm just realizing because there's no internet. And
right.
There's only
there's
no
internet.
There's like 3 or 4 stations on TV. There's no cable TV yet. There's 4 stations.
There's no cable.
There's not even 25, 38, 56
exactly,
don't even exist yet.
Exactly, because you have 4, 4, 5, and 7. No, you did, but you had, no.
The only way to do it is talent shows, though.
It's talent show. Because on the TV dials, you only had UHF, right? So you had channel 56, 68, and 38, because 38 had their tower over there by Brighton.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
You had to out. To make sure people
no, exactly.
That's
but
the only way
so
you do it.
and
this is
where the first promoters came in, because now
you can
exactly
flyers, instead of you having to be places, flyers can be places.
And that's why I feel what we call my man VO
that's
Victor. VO basically so Deborah would make up the flyers. You ever seen the first hip hop flyers? How they was doing with markers and all that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how these flyers were. They made up the flyers.
Like the first flyers.
These are the first flyers, right? Like do you actually
like promo show flyers?
Promo show
the
flyer
shit that people throw away now, the double
with a marker,
glossy,
all that
fucking,
shit, right?
There's
none of that shit going on. It's just there's no internet, no nothing. You're making the actual flyer, right? And you're going around with tape, going around in every neighborhood, putting it in the hallway, sticking it up, right?
Yeah.
That your talent show is going to be happening at such and such school or at that location at that project.
And probably tons of people go because there's nothing else.
People's coming out. People came out, man. Like, I mean, when we would do a talent show, people from all over would come out. You'd be like,
because people hear the word talent show, you're like, oh, it's some little thing.
Exactly.
But back then, I bet you these talent
competition,
shows were like fucking like these.
it was huge because competition, especially in Madison,
and then neighborhoods could battle
exactly
and shit for bragging
exactly
rights and all that shit. Yeah,
and so at this time, you had. All the girls would come out, you know what I'm saying? They'd come out from different neighborhoods. People would be, competition dance. And we had block parties back then.
Like you saw like hundreds of people, thousands of people
to come out, right? So we had a good time. So at this time now we're actually officially signed with Critique Records. At this time, we're in the studio. We're working day and night. You're in the studio. Pizza, the whole 9-year season now. You know what I'm saying? So now my uncle's working side by side with us. We would be over on He's
producing your records?
So yeah, he's producing our records now. Larry Wu, Wedgeworth, God rest his soul. He producing Golden Worthy. So
no school. We're just like no work. We're just
so at this time. So you're going to school,
okay?
Right? You're going to school, but then you start getting that tutoring after the fact, right? So at this time we're going to school. So at this time we're like at the James P. Timothy Middle School,
okay?
Right? And you're 6th grade, 7th grade, right? You got a record out, man, right? And the record's on the fucking radio. Right?
Yeah.
So now that's instant. Like female, they're at you.
Yeah.
Because New Edition is already doing what they're doing, right? And so now here we come.
So you're in 7th grade.
So at this time,
raking it in.
It's crazy because now you're day and night. You're in the studio working, right? And so at this time. Now shouts out to Joey Carvello. Joey Carvello was our A&R over at Critique Records, and so now he got us in. So you had clubs back then like Club Soda. You had Narcissus.
Club Soda. That's a dope name for a club.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
All these and Narcissus used to be over in Kenmore Square. This was a huge club, bro. Huge, man, right? So we had a lot of concerts over there. We pull up in these long stretch limousines and shit. You know what I'm saying? You buy your mother a nice gown to come out to the show and all that. So at this time, we get with Kiss 108. So Sonny Joe White is a huge disc jockey over there, right?
Big, yeah.
Huge. So now our record goes in rotation, right? And now our record's being played, and now it's going on the charts on Billboard.
Early 80s?
It's early 80s, just going on Billboard. So now, mind you, we go from an R&B group because now the politics, now we're a pop group, right? So we cross over. Yeah. So you got this song called Be My Girl, which is bubble gum and drops and all this other type of stuff, man. You can see it on YouTube, right?
Are you the lead singer?
No, I'm not the lead singer. Dwight was the lead singer on it. And I did a lot of tenor and baritone, you know what I'm saying? But we all step, right?
The baritone. So you're the guy from Boyz II Men with the cane.
So, no, I don't do the bass. My cousin Keith was the bass.
Okay.
He was the bass. So at this time, it was me, Lee, Dwight, and my cousin Keith. So at this time now, Lansdowne Street was huge.
Yeah.
Huge at this time, right?
Yeah, I remember.
So at this time, they're booking us shows over there. So they had this place called the Metro, right? At this time, we're doing shows with Disco 3, which is basically the Fat Boys, right? So now that's when the history starts coming in, right? So we got them, and then we...
This is where the history starts coming in?
Yeah. And so now we doing... And that's when it was called Disco 3. There wasn't the Fat Boys then.
It's like we invented flyers.
Right.
It's crazy. So now we're over there and we're doing shows with Disco 3. We're on the same stage with Prince. We're all doing these shows together over here on Lansdowne Street. So Prince is involved because
Have
he's
you, like,
on
met Prince?
Yes, and we was on the same bill with him at that time.
The way you just said yes.
Yeah, it's just.
Like, oh yeah, cool. Of course I met Prince.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you asking me? What kind of
Apollonia,
stupid shit is that?
Apollonia, all them, like, because they would be in the same studios with us.
I want to hear the rest of your story, but we need a Prince story at the end of it.
Yeah.
Story. But I want you to. I don't want to miss. Yeah, but
Right.
Go on.
So basically, we, you know what I'm saying? So now Travis got us booked. So Travis is our manager, which is New Edition's manager, and Brooke Payne. And Brooke Payne is the manager also, but he's the choreographer. So now he comes on board and he's doing all our choreography, right? So you know, if you see New Edition, how their choreography is, same shit as ours, because we get it from the same place. And it's all a family type of situation, right? So we lighten it up. So
Is this like Motown, the way Motown had like their whole
So that's what happens.
Conveyor belt.
conveyor belt?
It's
Like
the same shit, because Travis and Brooke was a team. That's a whole nother story, because if you all seen the biopic with New Edition, it's a whole nother situation, because you don't see Trav over that side, right? So it's a whole nother situation. So that's why, really, like I was telling
And you know all these people, like,
right,
personally, Yeah.
because we're talking about family members. That's why the documentary that we shot parts of in the last several years, Boston Boy Band's The Real Story, will be coming out soon. You know what I'm saying? After we get everything we need to get to, because there's a lot of stuff that people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
People see stuff that's on TV, but they really don't know behind the scenes and what goes on. We're talking about bodyguards, security that worked for the different groups, right? They end up working for us. And there's a whole nother caliber. There's a whole nother side to the shit that has really, really happened. So as we're with the machine
I'm in
now,
for it.
we're handling our business. We're with Critique Records now. So we're working. We're on the road. You know what I'm saying? We're working. We're doing shows with the Four Tops. So now IOD gets involved. Remember the radio station IOD?
WILD?
WIOD.
Yep.
So now our record is moving. Elroy, who was one of the biggest radio personalities over at IOD, took us under his wing, and they added our record. So now the record's there, and Boston used to have this thing, what they call the Kite Festival, right? Kite Festival used to be huge. People go into Franklin Park, they fly their kites, they have concerts, music, food, everything. Festivities was the best. So at this time now, we get invited to perform over there. So it's us, the Four Tops, A-Train, all these groups, major groups, man. We're on the Kite Festival, man, on that stage, and our record is doing numbers, man. It's going, it's pushing. It's on IOD, it's on Kiss 108. It's in the top 100s, the whole nine. So now we get a chance to get on the road. We're on the road now, doing what we need to do. Boom. Now you come to a stop, because now Critique Records is not, we get ready to make these albums, but now things are starting to kind of, we ain't really feeling what's happening business wise over this side, right? So Travis basically took me with him all the time and taught me the other side, the business side. So we're back and forth. We're in New York now, right? So I'm learning. I'm in the offices, so I'm learning all this shit as I go now, right?
Just you, not the other three group members.
Right. The other group members is back home, right? So we're doing what we do. Now we get booked for a show. IOD said we're going to do a big radio show at Spinoffs / Dance Factory. This was one of the biggest. This is bigger than Chez Vous. Chez Vous skating rink it's still Chez Vous.
Yeah.
But Spinoff, I don't know if y'all been on Lanesdale. Right around the corner is Bill's Bar.
Yep.
MGM is over his side now, what they built, but on that corner was Spinoffs, and you skate during the day, and at night they call it Dance Factory, because you take off your skates and you go ahead and you dance, right? And everyone from the neighborhoods, from Mattapan, Roxbury, Dorchester, South End, everybody would gather here, right? Have fun. So IOD books the show. This fucking show was so huge, bro, that the line was around the corner, under the bridge, all the way damn near off of what's that street over there?
Star Drive.
Around that corner, all the way around there. It's huge. This is the first time I ever experienced a crowd that's so big, man, that I couldn't really even hear myself. And so they had us locked in where the skates are before we came out on stage. and we had the bodyguard bring us to the stage. Man, we was only able to do 2 songs. My cousin ripped his shirt off. Man, it was over. It was crazy. They had to rush us off the stage, get us, and they brought us downstairs into another compartment. And when that's why we got into Lanesdown Street on that side, because we had to perform over there that night too. So we couldn't even leave the area. But this shit was so huge. This was our first time ever experiencing.
There's people clamoring to get to you, girls and stuff.
Crazy. It was just bananas, right? So this is the first time ever, saying you're really, really feeling this experience. You're like, this is what you always wanted to do.
What does that feel like?
Yeah.
It's like a zombie apocalypse.
To me, it was real. It was exciting, but it was scary for me. Because what happened to me and during that time, it made me not want to be around crowds, be in the middle of a crowd.
Because everyone's like... I could still see it today. I remember the bodyguard that was in front of me. This dude was huge, man. He had a little white hat on. And they made us lock up. Like, you put your arm through this one, right? And the next one, and they push you through the crowd. And that shit was so loud, man. It was crazy, man. It was just bananas. And I was like, whoa. So that kind of did something to me at that time. I was like, man, the crowds. But I love the crowds. But it was a scary situation. Because, people coming at you.
Yeah.
So it was a really great time at that time. After that, everything was at a halt for a minute. And now we're in New York. So with Travis, we're in New York. And this is when we're going. So my Uncle Maurice says, well, basically, we had one more record. We had Temptation, which was a ballad. And we had a quartet come in and actually play it, right? So we got this record. At this time, my cousin Keith leaves. He said, cuz, I don't want to do this no more. I want to go to the military. I don't want to do this music shit no more. I want to go to the military. Which now, I love him to death. He's a sheriff in Atlanta. He made a career out of the military. He did what he needed to do.
That's such like you're trapped.
Why is he jumping board in the midst of the?
He just. I mean,
the crowds are too much.
I guess this was just something that
not for everybody.
Yeah, he just one day he said to me, he said, "Yo, cuz, I don't want to do this no more."
Huh.
He was signed in the whole 9. He wanted to go to the military, and I guess that was.
Did something happen like with the military or something like that? Was like what time was there a war going on or something?
No, I think basically he just wanted something different. I just think the music wasn't. I mean, he loved what he did, but I don't think he was that passionate about the music side of things like we were. I think he was more looking at, I don't know, this music thing is cool, but it could end tomorrow, right? And I want to be able to take care of my family when I get a family, right? Mm-hmm. And so I believe he was on that type of situation.
Is the money not adding up to like the fame at this point in time?
So at the time, the money's not adding up to the fame. Because now you're
for somebody,
right? Exactly. Someone's getting some money, right? Someone's getting some money, but we're young. We're having fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're having fun. We're living our lives, right? But this way it gets crazy because now you got these records out there. You got Temptation. Now you're getting to do. Now you're doing the transition. So now Temptation is on a white label. My Uncle Maurice is. We have an independent label called LaSalle Records. LaSalle Records is basically ran by Travis Gresham, who was our manager, right? Because we needed another record out because we're getting ready to leave Critique Records. So we put out this new single called Temptation. It's a ballad. Everyone loves it. MIT, all the radio stations are playing it. But it's really not, it's a ballad. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not doing what we needed to do. So at this time now we get the phone call. We go to New York. Boom. We get signed. We're going to sign with Motown. So now we the only group out of Boston, even though New Edition did what they did, what the case would be, we the only group out of Boston signed Motown. So now we signed with Motown. Boom. We good. Everyone's excited. So now we go in the studio. My uncle's producing the records. We're writing. We got the whole album put together.
At this point in time, your uncle's produced some like major records.
And major records.
Grammys, all that shit.
Everything. Yeah. Well, because remember, he was already signed with Arista Records.
Yeah.
Already. And then remember, his brother and them, the Johnson crew. So they got Pac Jam. They got all them songs.
What are some of these records though? Just for like reference, so people can like how big these records. I mean, Candy Girl. Candy Girl
is huge. Candy Girl is huge, right? So you have everything that he did. That record just went beyond there, right? But now we're looking at we go to Motown and he produces and we are writing on it. and we do step by step.
Shit, okay. Yeah, right into it.
Okay. So now we're in.
Well, the step by step you're thinking of. The step by step anyone pick, like that one you're thinking of.
Is that one. So we're in Motown. It's 1980. It's 1987. We signed with Motown. We doing our thing. Boom. I'm flying back and forth because now I'm living in California. You know what I'm saying? The rest group's over here. I'm living that Hollywood shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm over there doing whatever I'm doing. We signed with Motown. Now I'm over there with Brooke over there, and now New Edition's over here over this side now too. They're in California. I'm with Brooke, who's our, choreographer, was manager and all that. But at this time, remember, Brooke and Travis, they're still together, but Travis doesn't manage New Edition anymore at this time.
Okay.
Right? Because remember, there was a parting there that happened. So now they're not on Streetwise Records no more. They're over at MCA. We're not at Critique no more. We're at Motown. So now we need a hit record. So we get.
And Motown was Detroit though, but you were in New York.
And what's crazy is that we get signed, and we're in there, and you see the machine that they do. You got that sound, right? Yeah. We got the Motown sound. So my uncle, he's huge. He's producing every fucking body, right?
Yeah.
He's doing everything.
Like number one pop hits and shit.
Number one pop hits.
Multiple Grammys.
Multiple Grammys, American Music Awards, behind the VH1 scenes, all that shit. All that shit across the board. So now when we produce,
and this is before we get to this is pre.
This is pre.
Yeah.
This is pre shit.
Yeah.
So now here we go. We sign with Motown. We're doing what we do. Now, mind you, at this time when we're signing with Motown, New Kids on the Block is coming. But New Kids on the Block is not New Kids on the Block. They're called Nanook. There was Nanook, because there was a breakdancing group.
Oh, Nanook.
Nanook. So at this time, me and Travis, my Uncle Maurice, we're at the House of Hits.
Is it the same New Kids on the Block?
The same New Kids on the Block,
they were a breakdancing group?
There was a breakdancing group.
Okay, all right.
Donnie, Danny, all them. There was a breakdancing group. Jordan, all of them, a breakdancing group.
Okay.
So I remember we're sitting in the House of Hits, and this is the new House of Hits. If you ever been on Dudley Street where the white church is, that was the Baby Mansion right there. This was where Boston International Records was developed there, right? Okay. And everybody was inside that house. So we recorded in there. So now we got to deal with Motown. We're doing what we're doing. We're recording. We're making everything happen. At this time, me and Travis was with my uncle. We're sitting there talking. He said, hey, I got a new group, man. You know what I'm saying? They're calling their Nuke. Man, I think I'm going to want to change their name. So Jordan was sitting right there. He was sitting right there, and Jordan always plays piano and shit like that. You know what I mean? From New Kids on the Block. So they ended up turning around. They changed the name, New Kids on the Block.
Who came up with the name?
So Maurice and Travis was going back and forth with names, and they ended up turning around, and they ended up coming with the name New Kids on the Block. Now, mind you, at this time, no one knows these kids are white. No one knows they're white at all. No one knows they're white.
Again, no internet, no television.
No internet, none of this shit. Yeah. No one knows they're white. So, God rest my uncle, Slime. I always go to Slime for advice because Slime always handled his business. He taught me a lot of stuff. You go out there with these flyers, whatever case may be, you don't come back with nothing. That's how you do your promotion, your marketing. You put that shit out there, you don't come back with nothing. So, New Kids on the Block, now they're New Kids on the Block, they need music. So, my uncle's producing. They got a lot of different shit going on. They got records that was supposed to been for groups, the Stylistics, because my uncle wrote and produced for all them groups and shit like that. So there's a lot of records that New Kids on the Block got that was meant for the Stylistics.
When I think about your uncle, the only when I try to compare him or explain, it's the only one that comes close, I think, is Quincy Jones.
Basically, yes.
It's
yes. Is that type of level.
It's on that level.
It's
too.
on that level. Yeah, because at this time, you got to remember, Boston is the Mecca for this, right?
Yeah.
Because mind you, R&B groups like this, it's coming out of Boston. It's not coming out of nowhere. We made the path for these kids' bands, right? So this is so now we're in Motown. We're doing step by step. Record's going great. We're doing the Soul Train shows. We're doing We're doing Rick D's and all that, right?
Wow.
All that shit.
Wild.
Record's crazy, right? We're everywhere. Now they used to have this club called the Channel downtown. This was exactly this. That's our original. That's us.
So we met this guy the other day. Well, we met you twice, but like so we run into you we're interviewing Mr. Cheeks. We run into you at the event Urban Escape on the Cape, and we're talking for like a good hour. And he just drops the fact that like, oh yeah, it's Step by Step is our song. We're the ones who did that. I'm like the New Kids on the Block song. He's like, yeah, that was our song first. And of course you're like, no fucking way.
Right.
He's like, no, it's on YouTube. So you're like, oh shit,
It's crazy. Yeah,
it's fucking crazy, man.
I mean, I think this is giving people a look behind the curtain at how things really happen and move, because you don't think like. I mean, I was shocked. Right, I was a little shocked when you were even talking about when Tupac came out of jail and a bunch of records that were supposed to be for like Dre, Snoop, got given to him.
That's what happens, right?
Okay, yeah.
So now,
I don't want to. Keep. Please.
So the record.
Sorry.
So the record's doing what we doing. I'm living in L.A. now. I'm living that Hollywood life. I'm driving BMW.
How old are you right now? Just set the scene again.
At this time, I'm about what? I'm in my friggin' 20-something around, somewhere around there, right? I'm living the life, man. I'm
old enough to go to bars.
I'm in there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'm dating chicks from Soul Train and shit, right? You know what I'm saying? Fucking New Editions. I'm going to New Editions rehearsals with Brooke and shit. They're doing shit. They just put Johnny Gill in the group at that time. So I'm living out that way in LA. We're all living in LA at this time, right? So I'm at the same. I don't know if you ever seen the
what kind of car were you driving then?
I was driving a BMW. I had my shit didn't have no door handles. You hit the button under the lights and shit opens up. Some crazy shit, right? So at this time, I'm like, we're going to Soul Train and all that. Now I met, at this time I'm meeting all these because I'm over there with Brooke, and we're at the studio for New Editions rehearsal because he's doing the choreography for them. Well, Brooke, basically, sister was married to my cousin Anthony, who passed away decades ago. But so we're family, right? So basically we're all in LA. I'm at New Editions practices, the whole 9 rehearsals on. At this time, you're seeing people like George Michaels. He's in the same building you're rehearsing in, all the other type of shit. They had just put Johnny Gill in the group. So I'm here, I'm there. I'm right there because we're all living
80s musical royalty.
So so here it is. It's 1988. We're in LA. I'm living the life. I'm at the video shoots and shit. You know what I'm saying? You got the supermodels all around, all the regular LA bullshit, right? That you do. Rest of the group's on the East Coast, right? So now my manager Travis calls me, he's like, "Yo, man, I need you fucking over here. You got some concerts you got to do." Da, da, da. I'm the bad one out the group, right? I'm like, I'm that Bobby Brown bullshit, right? I'm doing all type of shit. Like, yeah, I'll get there when I get there. You know what I'm saying? So, So our security at this time, shouts out to Peanut and Wade, they were New Editions security originally. You know what I'm saying? And then they came on board with us.
Did you know Gurk?
Yeah, Gurky, that's my man. That's my man. So Gurky, so mind you, Gurky did everything with everybody. Yeah, because Gurky worked with my uncle Maurice.
Sitting right there with Benzino was sitting in where you're sitting.
So Gurky, that's the man, because Gurky, he a hell of a promoter. That's what he do. From day one, Gurky back in the day had the motherfucking white sidekick with the Adidas shit on the side, all that. But Gurky, that's my man. He handles his business. So at this time, man, like Gurky would tell you, like Gurky was at the House of Hits. Like he worked with, because you got to remember, my uncle had artists like Classic Example, who had those hits on South Central soundtracks, which were a part of Correct Records that was part of Walt Disney out in California. So there was a lot of shit going on at this time, right? And now my cousin Bobby could tell you even more deeper shit, B Hill, because B Hill played in the band with Perfect Gentlemen, right? Which my uncle and then my younger cousin, younger Maurice and Steven, and then that's when they had Ooh La La was out. That's when
another huge
yeah. That's it. It went crazy, right? With fucking $1 million suits on, crazy shit, right? But David Vaughn made a lot of those suits too, right? So there's a lot of history here, man. There's a lot that we there's so many people that can come inside here, man, and give you bits and pieces that you'll be like, whoa, this shit's crazy. So at this time, when they turn to become New Kids on the Block, right? They need music. Uncle's producing all their music. Now,
wait, but they were just breakdancing, and they were like, you guys have the look, or what?
So they was only breakdancing.
Yeah,
my uncle molded them and put them in that situation to be a boy band.
But he didn't even know if they could sing. He taught them to sing.
He taught them to sing. He taught them. He gave them the ingredients.
But they were all buddies. They were all.
They was all.
So he didn't put them together.
No, they was already together.
But he was like, "You're gonna make music now."
He molded them.
Still pretty wild, to have that, to see that vision and just be like, "I'm gonna make it happen."
They became like one of the biggest.
Well,
I remember.
Well, this
my
is what's
sister
crazy.
was obsessed.
The crazy part about this shit is, right, because when you do the history on Step by Step, this was one of the biggest fucking records of 1990 for them, because we put the record on 87. We're still riding the record doing what we need to do. Now, what happened? So this is what happened.
So you guys have put this record out.
Yeah, it's not
already.
The record's already out. I'm traveling.
That's where I'm
traveling.
You're very interested.
I'm performing. We're performing the song on tour. The whole shit. We're performing the song.
Very interesting.
Okay, we're performing the song. Now, mind you, when we're on today, the group today was our label mates over at Motown.
I'm wondering if, like, I've heard the song before, but like it got like eclipsed in my young brain, like, by this.
But you heard it.
That's what I'm saying.
You definitely heard it. You definitely heard the record.
Like, you singing the record, because I'm old enough that I could have still heard that.
Exactly.
But then, like, when I'm here at like 10 years old, when I'm hearing new kids do it,
because what you played there is us. That's the original song. Which, when you hear New Kids on the Block, it's the same shit. They just did a remake of our shit, right? But it was marketing purposes.
It's crazy.
Have you ever signed a New Kids on the Block record of it?
No.
Okay.
No. This is where respectfully, it's funny, because there's been a lot of years as we went down the line. So you got to remember.
Can we back up though? Because I do have to know, like, it's your song. Now all of a sudden it goes to their song. At some point you have to, like, realize that, what the fuck?
Right.
Yeah,
right. Well, so we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
Because what happens is this. I'm in LA, I'm doing what we need to do. We having fun. Everything. All of a sudden, so this is where it becomes complicated. Because now,
as I imagine so.
We're supposed So anytime we perform, New Kids on the Block did not want to go on before us, and they never wanted to go on after us.
Well, they're singing the same song.
Period. No, but this was before. This is before the situation with the record.
Okay.
Now, mind you, all of us are in the same building at Narcissus.
Are they touring with you? Like, your opening act?
So this what happens. So we're supposed to. So now they're moving. They're doing what they're doing, and we're all supposed to go on tour together, right? So this tour the deal was supposed to be signed.
What song they about?
Us and New Kids on the Block. This was on their first. This was like on their first album, right? Hanging Tough and all that, right?
Okay, yeah.
We're supposed to be.
Which your uncle produced. He
produced all that shit, everything. So now we're supposed to go on tour. I remember being in rehearsal. It's a fucking 110 degrees outside. Our manager's like, "Yo, y'all rehearsing." We turn around. We're supposed to go on tour. All of a sudden now, we're not signed to that tour, right? What the fuck? So I'm like, okay, no problem. So now we're getting started becoming problems. Now we're talking about money, we're talking about different shit. We're still out here working, doing what we need to do, but why aren't we on this tour? Like, what's the problem?
You were removed from the tour.
We never even got a chance to even go on the road with the tour, because at the end of the day, you had Perfect Gentlemen and them, got New Kids, all that. We were supposed to be a part of that situation.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your fucking mind right now. Was Dino on that tour with them?
Yep.
So that was the first concert I ever went to.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cause you had
you know, we always talk about that.
Yeah, I know. That's wild.
That tour is the first concert. That's at the
crazy,
Boston
yeah.
Garden.
And what's crazy is that.
So do you remember at the show at the Boston Garden?
Every last one.
That was that from that tour.
Yep.
That was my first concert.
Wow. That you ever
went to.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And you were there.
I was there.
But you weren't performing
But we
there.
weren't performing. And
you were there with your middle fingers up.
And so
it's still fucking wild.
Yeah, I know. It's really crazy.
But what's crazy is, so now my uncle, see, we're all in LA, we're doing different things. So now he turns around and because before that he had, I don't know if you ever heard the group the Irvin and the Twins, right? So they ended up doing the Michael Jackson song over One More Chance. They did that, right? So Irvin and the Twins. So Irvin went on to become part of the group. What was their name? Fresh, not Porsche. What was their name? Porsche? Was it Porsche? Portrait.
Okay.
So he became one of the lead singers for Portrait, right? But he came out of Rhode Island. He's from Rhode Island originally. So yeah, Irvin the Twins. So my uncle had all these groups, man. I'm talking about this stable is crazy now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's a lot of money going on. So now, all of a sudden, he says, all right, look, I want to let new kids on the block because they need it. I need them to do this record over. I need them to do redemption of the record. Yeah, really? Now, mind you,
was that your biggest hit so far?
So that's really like our biggest fucking hit
biggest
right here, right?
Okay.
When you look on paper, they say the record didn't go nowhere. The record was all over the fucking world.
Okay.
What happened at this time, they were selling Motown. So today was our label mates also on Motown. And they was getting ready to sell. So now what happened was that everything's depleting, everything's going away. So they're selling parts of Motown. ABC was part of this. It's a whole
another bad creation?
No, the record, the label. So the network, ABC, all this other shit, right? So everyone's buying a piece of what's going on. The network's coming in.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, boom, that part where the division that we was on is gone. Where they're like, okay, you guys are gonna have to. That's it. It's a done deal.
So your cousin Keith was fucking.
So he was right, right? He was right. He said, "I'm getting the fuck up out of here," right? So so now that's what happens, right? So I'm like, oh man. So now we're still doing shows and what we need to do, but at the end of the day, man, it's like we rolled it out. We did what we needed to do. So now I take a hiatus. I remember my mom called me. And she said, what's going on? So at this time, this is what made me mad. Like, I love New Kids on Block. These are my people, man. I respectfully.
But it was there a time that you were like, fuck them?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it was a long time.
Do you ever fuck them up or anything?
It was a long time. We didn't get to that. We didn't, it was a long time.
Yeah.
Because what happened was, here you go. I got a family, right? I got a record. All of a sudden, my mom calls me, and my mom says, yo, listen, they're saying this record was never done before. This record was such and such. And I'm like, who's saying that shit? This is our record. What are you talking about? So you got to remember, these dudes did the Arsenio Hall show, all this other shit, man, right? All this shit. They're fucking, the record, you see how many records it sold? Yeah. Did you see this shit?
How many records?
That shit did like fucking, at least 300 fucking million or some shit, right? The single was their number one fucking hit in 1990, bro. Right? So I'm like this, like
in the year of 1990, that was the number one song.
In 1990, that motherfucking record went platinum, bro.
Right.
The record went platinum, right? So at this time, B, you got to remember,
it was hard to go platinum.
So you got to remember, I'm living two lives. I'm an entertainer over this side, right, and I'm in the streets. So now that street side saying, man, where the fuck my money?
I didn't realize. Right. Okay.
Right. So now I'm like, fuck this here.
Yeah.
Now we got it. Where this paper at? Cause now this motherfucking shit. You tell me now you got 900 numbers. You got fucking pillows and sheets and socks. And
but your mom had called you. This is how you find out.
Yeah.
She
so
says
I took a hiatus.
They're saying you guys never did what you did.
He's saying he wants a piece of the merch. He wants a piece.
I'm like
a Nickelback sold the
right. So
because they did the socks,
they had everything,
lampshade, fucking soap.
So
shampoo.
you fucking you're here, right? But this record, I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, it took this long. You're like still to today. Why didn't someone say, okay, check this out. Superiors and New Kids on the Block should come out on the show together and do this show, right? Together, do this song. This would be great for Boston, right? We go off from Boston. It's never happened. Now things were we put it out there before, but it was never happened.
But they wanted to pretend like you guys didn't happen.
So somebody did. Okay. Somebody up higher up did. They did. I don't think they knew personally what happened. I think it was a political situation. I don't think they knew.
Do you think
personally?
Let's call it the elephant right in the room. Is it because they were white kids and fucking you guys were black?
They basically that's what it was. It was like no one knew they was white. Once the pictures came out and the promotion came out and it was white, this shit went haywire.
But your uncle must have known like he was keeping that in the bag. And
he's a promotional fucking guru. Of course, he did.
The fire going. And
he did.
What do they look like? Oh, they're fucking blonde haired white kids. Like,
exactly.
Oh shit.
Exactly. Because he's smart like that.
Black music.
Right. Literally, no, absolutely. Literally.
Black music. Right. Like so basically, the same shit that happened to dude who wrote all of Elvis Presley shit is black.
Yeah.
Same shit. Elvis is doing this shit, getting paid.
Yep.
We just went through the same shit, right? But this is what America doesn't know. The world doesn't know about this shit. Like, they don't know about this shit. They don't know, like, we really did this shit. We're performing this shit. So at the end of the day, hands down, respectfully, if Superior's gone on stage with New Kids on the Block today and this step by step in our choreography, we'll blow them out. Hands down. Hands down. You know what I'm saying?
Because you were real artists.
Yeah, like
they were
we
boy
do choreography.
I believe them.
We do choreography.
No, I believe
real.
you. I believe
like,
you. I see the passion for sure.
Hands down. Like that's why they never. I don't. And
they don't want the smoke.
Listen. They never wanted to go on before us or after us. So T-Von can tell you. Dalen can tell you. Jimmy can tell you. Fucking Dwight can tell you. Like at the end of the day, that's us. So basically. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we go on stage right now, it'd be the same way like with New Edition. It'd be 6 of us on stage and we'd be doing what we doing. Bottom line, hands down. Superiors, we did our shit. We played every spot from Cortez to Roscoe's to the patio to the hi-hat to Ben's Lounge, all that shit. From Four Corners on down, the channel, everything. We was around the world.
That's dope.
But now that shit went platinum. So at the end of the day, you're gonna feel some type of way. We're like, yo, hold on, you'll waste our money.
So what happens like the first time you run into somebody?
So we never got a chance to run it. So you know what I'm saying? After that situation,
just blew up.
It just went right. So now, mind you, I've been around them. You know what I'm saying? But it's just one of those things, man, where you just kept it peaceful. You know what I'm saying?
Have they ever like apologized? Or?
No one's never did. No one's never did.
They never like, man, even like in old age or whatever, like, yo,
but
man.
Did they even know it? They knew.
I don't think.
But they didn't know.
I think now they know, but I don't think they knew then.
But one thing that we do know is your uncle sold you out.
Well,
I'm saying. Have you had that conversation?
Listen.
Have you had that conversation?
So me and my cousin Bobby always had the conversation, right? Because basically it was a power move, right?
Yeah.
My uncle taught me and Bobby a lot of shit, man. We basically he taught us everything hands down.
Is it because you weren't showing up?
Right,
you were Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
And shit?
No,
you weren't even in the same state.
Listen, I was on another coast.
Maybe if you worked the record harder, it fucking
the record worked. Like, okay, so put it like this: I got the phone call over the West Coast. So I remember the day clearly. I was over there. I was talking with Brooke. We was in the apartment. Brooke was looking over my contracts at the time. I got the phone call saying that Step by Step is dead. On the East Coast instead. I'm like, how the fuck is it dead? I'm watching Rick D's show right now, and that's Rick D's show is like Soul Train. I'm watching fucking white kids dancing to our song on fucking Rick D's show. I'm like, what do you mean that the record is dead? You gotta be out your rabbit ass mind. Y'all crazy, right? But the politics of Motown, what was happening, they was being sold. Bots was being sold. So us today, anyone who was on that label at that time,
there was no infrastructure.
It was a done deal.
And of course, you hadn't signed anything that was helpful to you.
Like, basically, I had the contracts in 09, but exactly, right? So now you're living your life, you're having a great time, right? But now we're talking about publishing and all the other stuff.
Right, I was going to say, you don't even know.
So now there's money, there's still money that's owed to us. A lot of shit, but there's a lot of people that's dead too, right? So how the fuck are you going to get it back? Right? And after so many years, there's no things that you can do. And they already got it already locked in and tied in. And all my thing is, I just want the world to know, like, at the end of the day, Step by Step was our fucking record, period. It did what it did. And then all of a sudden, you all can benefit off the platinum side of things and all the other shit. But if we ever get on the same stage together, trust and believe me, we're going to do what the fuck we going to do.
Has anybody tried to copyright strike your version on YouTube?
No.
Okay.
No. Because
that would
now,
be crazy.
Yeah, but you see on it now, you see it says, Maurice Starr's group, the Superiors, boom, but the record didn't have fame. That's what it says.
This one says the Superior Step by Step, the original artist.
That's right. Yeah. So when you look at it, just like with Be My Girl, right? If you go on there, you'll see Step by Step. You're see,
crazy.
and it's just that's us. But in the Wikipedia, what I sent you today, you look inside there, you'll see what it says, and it says because that record ended up going fucking platinum. You know what I'm saying? It went platinum. I love all of them to death. But at the end of the day, the reality of it, it was a power move. They needed a hit record. That record made them a fucking hit record, and it made them fucking millionaires. You know what I'm saying?
So who came up with that record, like the whole thing?
So my uncle came together with it. All of us we all put our input into the record.
Okay.
We also had mind you, we had an album. So now, mind you, at this time, because I'm pissed. You know, I'm pissed at the whole situation and what's going on, right?
I imagine.
So at this time now, I'm in the streets. The whole shit. We already have the album done. Now we're getting ready to go from there and go over to RCA, Columbia Records, at this time. So now I'm in the streets. I'm in the streets, right? I'm living the street life. I'm in the streets getting it in. Getting money, the whole shit.
But the song never officially came out on your album. Prior, right?
Step by Step was a single and went out.
Right. It was on 12 inch.
It was a 12 inch. But the fucking overseas, the record was selling for $12.
Okay, yeah.
The dub version was selling for $12. And this was, I'm talking about years later. Like 2006, 2007, I had a collectors over there. The record was being sold over there for $12. That's huge. You know what I'm saying? And I had, different DJs that was going to a whole nother level of shit, right? So at this time, I turn around, I end up, I'm in the streets, I get some shit going on, whatever case it be. Boom. I have to, I gotta go do a bid, right? So I'm in there. So now Motown, my manager comes, you know what I'm saying? You got the PR people, everything comes, so we gotta sit down. So I'm like, all right, look, I don't want this to fuck up. Continue the group. The group has to go on, do what you need to do. We did the choreography for 5 people. So no matter if we have 4 and we got 5 people, you can still do the choreography, you can still perform, you can still do what you do. But right now what's gonna happen is basically I'm gonna sign this paper, whatever case may be, y'all continue to do what you need to do. I'm gonna step back. I gotta do this bid. I don't want to affect you all's career.
Well, how long was the bid?
So I already had to do maybe 2 years.
Okay.
Right? But so I did that. And
things are moving fast.
Things are moving fast. I turned around and I took a hiatus. So at this, now mind you, I always DJ'd. Okay? I always DJ'd the whole 9. So back then,
because we haven't even got to why you're DJ Rasheed.
Right. So now mind you, back then in the 80s, as we're coming up in the 80s into the 90s, you have Rusty, the Toe Jammer.
But before we move on though, did New Kids do the same choreography you did?
So hell no.
Okay,
no, hell no. They couldn't.
Did they try to?
They tried to.
Okay.
They tried to. But when you look at New Edition, you see Superiors. When you see Superiors, you see New Edition. Point blank, because Brooke Payne, who's all of our choreographer, right? He gives us that sharpness. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get that shit, right? It's real smooth. Yeah, they try to imitate some shit, but that's all they did. Was trying to imitate it. You're never compared.
But they tried to transfer the full package.
Are they coming out singing your song and doing your moves at the same time?
Their choreography never matched our shit.
Okay,
our shit. The choreography for Step by Step was bananas. That Brooke put together was bananas. Our shit. If anyone has that footage from the channel, when we was with the SOS band in Boston, they already know hands down how our shit was. Crazy. No, anyone who's older that's ever been to any of our shows, whatever case it be, they already know how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, it's one of the things. I was pissed for a lot of years. I was pissed for a long time. because I felt that it wasn't no just due. I felt that they kind of like just shoved shit under the rug. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's real. Like, I mean, come on. I'm like, I got a family to feed, the whole nine. I'm like, somebody somewhere, something should have happened. Like, somebody should have been like, yo, listen, man, hold on. We're going to break everybody off, right? Because this is a Boston situation. It's success, the whole nine. How can you just say, oh, this record was never done? Whoever said that shit, whoever said it, even if it wasn't a group and it was somebody out of their camp or whoever on the record label, whatever case it be, that's crazy because we was on one of the biggest fucking labels ever that record came out on. So it didn't make no sense, right?
Like, people knew what they were doing.
Exactly.
Heard this record.
Exactly. You heard the record. And so now you did the same shit. If you play both records.
This is like one of the wildest stories in show business I've ever fucking heard. Yeah,
same shit.
And like, but it's not like this stopped you. Like, you kept going and we kept
going. We kept going. And so now Superiors went on. I turned around, took a hiatus, and
so was it a 2-man group when you were locked up? And
no, it was five because we brought T-Von in. So T-Von always wanted to be in a group, whatever case may be. T-Von was from around the way, so we brought him in. You know what I'm saying? So he basically took my place. So while I was locked down, they end up shooting the video for Temptation. So remember I told you about the single that we had, Temptation, right? Because we had already did the album. You know what I'm saying? So and the album was called Time, Perfect Timing. So we had already did, the album was already done. So anyone who we brought into the group, it was already prefabbed. It was already made. They didn't have to do nothing else except just get on the stage and dance and do what they need to do. That was it. So we brought T-Von in. While I was locked up, they did the video for Temptation. So Lee was the lead singer on that. And that's when you seen everyone else. If you ever look on it, you'll see the song Temptation. That song was a ballad, and it went everywhere too. Everyone loved it. But it was just one of those things, man, where just like you said, like with Classic Example, a lot of other, bands that came out of Boston, ABC, you know what I'm saying? Like Mike had all those. But there's a lot of history and a lot of talent that came out of Boston. And I think the rest of the world really doesn't know that. They don't understand it. And yeah, of course I was pissed. If I sat here and lied, I wasn't pissed about this. I was pissed. I was like, yo, man, at that time, I was like, man, you better not ever run into me at a spot, right? Because we're going to have a problem. And that was real. I mean, because I had a family. I'm like, I fucking worked all my life to try to get to this point, do what I do, and all of a sudden this happens. And all of a sudden now the record goes over there. But, I mean, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? If you're not physically really, the John Hancock and all the other type of shit, man, it's crazy. And that's why I tell artists today, you got to dot your I's and cross your T's.
And this documentary about this coming out, right? Because this is like, this is super, like...
Yeah, we're putting it together now.
Like,
we're putting it together.
I don't know how many other platforms you've been on even to tell this story at all.
No, this is the first platform that I ever told the story on.
Because that fucking...
It's the first platform.
That's some entertainment, behind the scenes.
Yeah,
this is like some level shit. Like, it's like some crazy shit.
It's just totally crazy because...
I sat down next to you, and after about an hour conversation, he's like, "Yeah, like Step by Step's my song," and you're like, and you're like, and not that because we had talked about the shit,
right,
so I knew you were like a legit dude, right. But I'm still like, that's still kind of a crazy fucking crazy like ask, and you're like, yeah, right, and you're like, no, and like to hear all that. And to it is such a big song, and to not know any of that.
That record is huge, man. But at the end of the day, when I look at it, we're still successful. We all from Boston. If we didn't make that fucking record, they would never have a platinum record.
It's almost like Vanilla Ice, like inadvertently, like fucking like funded Death Row Records. Like it's like you inadvertently like started boy bands.
Basically,
you know what I'm saying?
Basically,
like kind of, yeah. I mean, like in a way, you know what I mean? Because
we were all part of it.
That's before NSYNC and all that other shit. All that
they made so basically.
Degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Because
100 of them.
When Maurice did that, the General. When he put that shit together, it created a wave, and everybody wanted to be a boy band. But you got to remember, everything Maurice did. That's why you seen all these. You started seeing all these boy bands come out everywhere, right? Everywhere. But you got people. There's people that worked on not The Voice, but Star Search, all those places, all those different shows, American Idol, all that shit. that came from Allah the General's camp. See, there was a lot of people that worked under Maurice that was right next to him that are out there now successful because of what he has done and what they learned from him. You know what I'm saying? Or stole from him.
Like a Belichick coaching tree.
Exactly, right? So they took it and ran with it. But there was a lot of shit that went on with that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot. So now we get to another level, man. I was like, yeah, I was pissed. But I feel we all successful with it now because at the end of the day, we went to a whole, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, cool. I just want the world to know, like, listen, this is our record. And this is, you know what I'm saying? And if we didn't do that record, then your shit wouldn't have went number one. You wouldn't have a platinum record from this right here. That shit went everywhere. Everyone loved that record.
And it was also the jump off to have their, like,
to have them, exactly.
Yeah, like
anytime you hear that record, anytime they come to concert, that fucking record, everyone's going crazy for that record.
Well, that record also got them all over like MTV and shit like that, which like now propelled you your second number one, the third number one, and fourth number one, and so on.
And it went that way for the 90s, right? So we went through. But now, you know, like I said, I took that hiatus, and that's what made me go back into the roots of the DJing situation because,
I mean, because you've had a ton of success as well being a DJ.
Yeah, because I was done. I was done with that. Well, see, so Rusty, who owned Funky Fresh Records, who was my label mate over at Critique Records, when he had it was Rusty the Toe Jim and the Short Shot 4, right? So they was doing what they was doing. So we was all label mates. But Rusty was my mentor. So when I first got when I first started DJing, I was still singing, dancing, all that other type of shit. But my grandmother first got me my first 1200 turntable, but it was a straight arm, but it was a belt drive. It wasn't direct drive at this time, right? It was a belt drive. So Rusty gave me my first 1200 direct drives, turntables, right? And he was my mentor. I always watched him when he was. He might kill me for this, but before he was Rusty told him he was Captain Pimo. That was his name, right? Just like me, I wasn't DJ Rasheed at the time. I was TNT. So at this time, we would be out in Providence, Rhode Island, at the concert that was going on out there in the Fresh Fest and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So now you seeing, you know what I'm saying, Battle Cat and everybody else, you know what I'm saying, all these DJs. And so I'm fucking with all this. You know what I'm saying? At this time, man. So I'm getting my first turntables and I'm in my room every day. I got, you know what I'm saying, you know, It's Like That by Run DMC, man. I got Davey DMX. I'm cutting this shit, man, you know, every day. I'm in there practicing every day, all day. Got my big speakers. I got my Twitters and my mid-ranges from fucking Radio Shack, right? So I'm hooking everything up, man. I'm doing all type of parties, right? At this time I get to another level, man, right? I'm just DJing. Well, now as time, that was in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing all the house parties from Lenox Street to Ruggles Street, man. We're doing block parties and shit, man. So now at this time, as I'm DJing, there was a group that Travis also had that came under management, was called the Remix Clan. They was really like the first fucking Wu-Tang that came out of Roxbury, dog. They was called the Remix Clan. There was 7 of them. You know what I'm saying? They came from Ruggles. They was put together, man, and they were the shit. You know what I mean?
Huh.
My cousin David, who's a police officer now, man, he was his pen game was crazy. He used to write for all of them. You know what I'm saying? So they was fire, man. They was fire. Travis had them, but then they end up self-destructing their own self. You know what I'm saying? But I think if they would have kept their shit together, they would have been like they was the first Wu-Tang to me, coming out of Boston.
Like lyrics and all that.
Lyrics, the whole shit. They were fire.
Did they put out any albums? Like
they didn't get a chance to.
We couldn't even go online and find them.
They didn't get a chance to even get in that studio and really do what they needed to do. They was at all the shows.
Did any of them come on individually?
No, they never
So
even.
That's crazy. They come on as a group or individually.
Nothing. And that's the sad part, man, because they was very, very talented, right? And mind you, we didn't have no internet, none of that shit then. None of that shit.
Yeah, what was your introduction to hip hop then?
So at that time, we're talking about, I'm back and forth to New York, so I'm right deep into the hip hop situation, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm, like I said, Rusty was my mentor.
But do you remember the first time you heard rap?
The first time the first time I heard rap, I was in my mother's house, and I heard that Rapper's Delight. That was my first time hearing rap, and then Curtis Blow. Those were my first records of hip hop.
Yeah,
rap. You know what I'm saying? My first.
So
time.
How old are you? Like, when you're like 10?
About that. That. You know what I'm saying?
Those like literally the first like rap records.
And those records there, because I remember going to the store and I was buying 45s then. You know what I'm saying? And playing on the little close and play.
So like, the first time you heard rap was like the first time like rap was like, played.
Was really, I know.
Exactly.
Wild.
You know what I mean?
Really wild.
So now playing your records, you playing
different
it on a 45.
Than when the first time you heard hip hop was Kanye, right?
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, we say like
we've had some younger
one of the
people
things
in
that we do in here is like I think it's interesting of like when you heard hip hop for the first time because hip hop is like in a different place. So if you heard hip hop for the first time and Boogie Down Productions was it versus like hearing it for the first time of like Tyler the Creator,
yes,
it's like you're very different mindset of what you think hip hop is.
Exactly.
So it's
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like that's the beginning. Like,
exactly, because when you look at my uncle and them as the Johnson crew, and you're talking about the song Pac Jam and all that, right? You're talking about breakdancing and all that shit. You had groups like Planet Patrol,
and this is before like there was even an MC because hip hop predates MCs.
MCing, right?
MC's like the last fucking part of it that came
because these records they were doing were breakdancing records. People started like Planet Patrol. They had their records, you know what I'm saying? So everyone who was a breakdancer was dancing off these records.
And graffiti was already out there.
Graffiti was already out. So they was doing all this, you know what I'm saying?
And the last thing was some guy picked up a microphone and started talking through like when records were switching and shit like that.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And like I got a chance.
Get the fuck up. Stand the fuck up.
Right. And at that time, because even being in the Superiors at that time and we was moving, when we would go to New York, like we were performing in places like The Fever. You know what I'm saying? And Broadway's Internationals.
Which is crazy now thinking about it. I know this anyways, but just sitting there, it just dawned on me that like, get the fuck up, stand the fuck up, put your hands in the air, turned into like fucking rap god.
Yeah.
Like it progressed into like rap
is really
god.
wild.
Like that progressed into like a fucking 10-minute no break fucking.
Exactly.
Like that's the same thing.
But look at Fat Man Scoop, right? Like so
crazy.
they took it and it's elevated the shit, right?
Like,
so when you look at that, man,
to think about that.
it just takes music to a whole other level, right? From my age, from where we was and where we at now, right? So by me taking a hiatus and saying, okay, I'm still an R&B lover. That's my love. But I'm here and I always DJ'd. So then I got into the promotional game. So mind you, we go from being an R&B singer, the whole nine, doing what we're doing. I'm DJing, but mind you, now we're talking about I'm coming through it's like at this time we're talking about like 96, 97. I'm getting into promotional game now. Promotion and marketing game. We're talking about street teams, the whole shit. So now I come out of retirement. I come out of the hiatus, the whole nine. I'm like, there's no more R&B shit. I'm not gonna never join another R&B group, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do none of that shit because that's Superiors is for life. That's not gonna ever happen. So I'm like, all right. So now we're gonna take this shit to another level. So now that's when you guys come in, because now we're working for Loud Records, right? At Loud Records with Steve Rifkin, you had to work 90 days for street teams without getting paid.
That was just to do anything over there. Okay.
Exactly, right? So you coming in.
That's what we should have for the big Dookie.
How early into Loud is this?
This is the beginning of Loud.
Who's over there? Did they sign who yet?
So at this time you have Woozo. This is right in the beginning. Woo's over there.
Mobb Deep.
You had everybody was over there at this time. So Steve is like
Alcoholics.
Alcoholics is like the number one fucking situation over there. So now we're taking all the street teams from that, right? Because now we got to wait 90 days. Now you're getting paid. So now I'm handling that. So me and DJ Edition. So I came on board like that through DJ Edition and Eddie Q. Eddie Q, who was one of the biggest party promoters that was in Boston, along with JC and Callaway, right? So that was the competition. So now I'm on board. I'm handling the promotion and marketing. I'm handling all the street teams that's in Boston. Now, mind you, there's a lot of competition, but we knocking motherfuckers out the box. Street teams were like gangbanging.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level of shit.
Yeah,
we sniping. We got the poster boards. You know what I'm saying? You got the glue kids out there. Glue kids are still out there. You see them with the movie posters and anywhere, and that goes from state to state. So when that call comes in, if it was Equalizer 2 was coming out in Massachusetts, that promotion is the same in New York, San Diego, wherever across because the glue kids still exist. You don't see us out there sniping no more. There's no more of that. That's no more one-on-one or guerrilla marketing, right? So that's what I was into. So we had the promotional part, right? And we did 95% of the industry. So we did everything.
Didn't Steve Rifkin create the street team?
Yes, Steve Rifkin created it. Right, loud. He created it because remember those poster boards you would see in the grocery store. So he took that idea from the grocery store and put it in the street and put the face of the albums on it, right? So now,
that's wild.
So now we're out here. That was the beginning. So now, mind you, street team shit was crazy because now we're in competition with Benzino's in them team in the trenches. Okay, because remember they got Source Magazine. They're doing what they're doing. So they got In the Trenches. So In the Trenches is the street team, and you got, mind you,
they called In the Trenches.
They were called In the Trenches.
Okay. Okay. I didn't.
They were called In the Trenches.
Picking up. Yeah,
no, I was not.
So now we got our team. Now, mind you, Brandon them come later on.
Yeah.
Brandon comes later on with Show Off.
I imagine.
with Static in them.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the beginning, we coming out. And it's really fucking gangbanging because basically you had to have so if you went out and you put the poster over here, another team couldn't come put a poster over there. They had to put it next to it, right? Because it's just disrespectful if you went over someone else's shit. So if you did that, we got a problem. So, but then at the time, the police didn't know what to do because they didn't know how to regulate this shit. If you woke up in the morning and you went down Dudley, you'll see poster boards every fucking way. I got 10, 15, 20 boards on a fucking light post. You at the guy, I got everything. Foxy Browns all around. They're like, oh shit, there's a new album coming out. My team killing it. I came number 2 in the fucking in the country. Another motherfucker beat me out. Mind you, at this time we had no promo trucks. I was doing a Cypress Hill promotion in Chi. I had a 2-wheeler with my fucking poster boards on it, in the snow, and my 40 belows on. I was on Route 1A and shit, posting shit up. I came number 2 because dude had a video camera recording his shit, and I ended up coming number 2 in the fucking country. But me, in addition, we handled a lot of things. So now James Lewis, my man, he had Woo Bear Production, and he was in Springfield, Massachusetts, and he handled the Violator account.
Okay.
Kingsley and them had the same accounts as us, because they was in Connecticut, because they had the record store Rex Effects or some shit like that. So now
that's Chris. Oh well, Violator Chris Lighty and shit.
Chris Lighty and them. They had that account. So mind you, at this time we didn't have the Def Jam account. I had the Bad Boy account. I had the Giant Records, Virginia, Virgin Records, all that type of shit. Right. At this time, Mario's after I leave Loud Records, because I had the only touring street team. That we would go out with the artists and handle shit on the road. So now Mario's at Bad Boy now. Mario showed us the ropes over there, along with Sean Prez. So Sean Prez was my boss at this time. But I'm the eyes and ears. I'm in Boston with New Edition, with DJ Edition and Eddie Q. Now, mind you, we killing 2 birds with 1 stone now, because we're promoters. Concert promoters and club promoters at the Palace Complex, the Saugus. We got one of the biggest clubs ever. You got the Officers Club on a Friday night.
So you got the whole people coming in.
You got everyone coming in, right? So every time we have an artist come in town, I'm bringing the runs. Now that's when I'm coming to Emerson College. Anytime I had an artist come in town, I'm doing a radio run, right? So I'm doing all radio. So I got the street teams I'm handling, and then I'm doing radio. Meaning I'm taking your artist there, I'm getting your record spun.
And what kind of artists are you talking about?
We're talking about I'm talking about everyone from Trey Lee, Ram Squad, Young Guns, Black Rob, fucking Biggie, Puffy himself, Foxy Brown. Everybody. We did 95% of the industry. Sauce Money, Nas, everybody. You know
and you said you were doing Cypress Hill.
It was the Cypress Hill.
Which is Rough House, right?
Yeah.
But you're bringing Biggie through radio stations.
We're bringing them radio stations.
You're bringing Nas
Black
through
Rob,
radio stations.
So this is our job, right? So now when I had Black Rob, so mind you, this was a crazy story. So Sean Press called us. We getting ready to do, because I told you, police don't know how to regulate this shit now. Poster boards everywhere, stickers every fucking way, right? So they say, all right, we're going to bring Black Rob through. Now, at this time, I'm calling promoters. Yo, listen, I got Black Rob, man, for a stack. You want Black Rob? No, we don't want Black Rob. We don't want him. Okay, y'all don't want? Okay, cool. No problem. So we had a delay on the record. We're gonna drop it. All of a sudden, Sean Prez calls. We get the fucking crates of record. Remember, we had one stop stand at the time, right? The fucking record, whoa, drops. I got my street team everywhere. We flooded Boston so fucking bad. Puffy called on his phone and was like, yo, yes, we got a $20,000-$30,000 fine. Keep up the great work. Crazy like that. On the phone, y'all doing y'all fucking shit in Boston. Y'all doing a great job. I'm talking about street teams. Man, motherfuckers had, man, listen. So now the city was like, hold on. We got to put a stop to this shit because this shit's getting crazy. So what they did was they started found a way to fine the record labels $1,000 per board because you had to put two boards together. So every time, so when you had a record label, and the record label's name was on there, the city is sending a bill to the motherfucking to the label, right? So that's why you always see shit that says post no bills, right? Because you're not supposed to do that. But the glue kids got around that. They fuck with the construction sites, right? And they would get permission to do what they need to do. But we come along, we do the same shit. So I had a whole plan laid out. At this time, Hot 97 was automated in Boston, right? This was the first time it come, so it was automated. So we brought Cameron and Jim Jones for the first live interviews.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
At Hot 97.
When Hot 97 first came on, the first like 30 days, there was no DJs.
There was no DJs. It was all automated. You know what I'm saying?
And then, like the first show came on, I was like, bang.
And we had
a lot of first going on.
And all that
I remember that. I don't remember it being Cameron, but I remember like that happening.
And so we set the stage. So we got street teams everywhere. So now, mind you, at this time, anytime I brought artists in town, and I'm making these runs. If you had a video show, whatever case may be, and they didn't have podcasts back then, but they had all their little shows, right? Limelight, Cheddar, DVD, all that. I'm bringing them to the run. I'm bringing them down. I will call Rusty, tell him coming through, and we had Method Man. Now, you know, when we brought him over there at hip hop.
Yeah, you brought him to underground hip hop. I remember that.
So we had everything popping like that. Anytime artists come in town, making a run. Now, at this time, we get ready to go to another level because now you got Biscuit Head Records, you got white labels, you got money. You know what I'm saying? It's getting crazy. I got Bubba who got Smoke
Bolger?
No Smoke Bolger, but he got a record shop over on Wall Street.
Oh, okay.
Smoking Grooves. That's what he had, right? So we making money. Cause we got the independent, you gotta remember, we got a promotional company and then we got a DJ, or we got a record pool. So we got DJs, we got the record pool, we got everything that's going on, man. So I'm making it happen. At this time, we get to a next level now, because now we're on the Up and Smoke tour. So now I'm on some other shit now. Cause now Big Chuck's involved, the whole nine. You on a whole nother level now.
Which one is this?
With Dr. Dre, Snoop, the whole shit. Yeah. So we're handling. So at this time, I'm handling with Vince Perry. I'm handling Corrupt. I'm handling TQ. You know what I'm saying? TQ ended up getting signed to over there with Birdman and them to Cash Money later on. But TQ was over at Jive at the time, I believe. At this time, we had the yellow bus. It was TQ. He had the big yellow tour bus at this time. We had fucking everybody was on this tour, man. Nate Dogg, everybody.
Oh yeah. I spoke about the biggest tours.
It was
like
a big tour. So we're in Worcester.
I was there.
We shot all that was shot like for
Michigan.
3 days in fucking in Worcester at the Worcester Centrum at the time, right? So then I brought Eminem and them. We took the whole bus and we brought it to the Officers Club. I called Eddie Q. I was like, yo, man, listen, we supposed to bring these pull these buses up, bro. He's like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, yeah, I'm bringing the whole team up this motherfucker, man. Wow. Yo, there was chicks throwing fucking panties on the fucking shit, man. Yeah. Eminem walked through that shit. It was crazy. And 94.5 was like involved at that time. It was just crazy. It was just a crazy time. It was a big fun time, man. We had a lot going on. We always would come to Embassy Cars, like I told you. Yeah. Rhyme Fest through there. My man Drake Holiday, you know, singing. This is when MCA Records was open.
Did you come through? You weren't with J.R. Ryder when they
never brought. He didn't bring Eminem through it for you.
I know. Why didn't you bring me Eminem? You know, I just think of J.R. Ryder because he got banned.
Well, yeah. Well. So we brought. All right, we brought J.R. Ryder.
Okay, no, I was figuring you did.
So what happened was I brought J.R. Ryder to Cheddar. I tried him to Cheddar DVD first, right, and then we came down to you. After that, I don't know. The shit was crazy after that, man. It was another
may or may not have been harassing the security guard. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just crazy,
thing.
Man, so like, I hate to have to do this. It's been an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We should go for an hour. I mean, this has been amazing. We have to have you come on again at some point in time because I have like 1,000 questions to ask you, and like we spent a lot of time on that step by step. But there's another whole entire.
It's a whole nother level.
Whole story of this, and we could go on for another hour and a half.
Yeah, because you know we didn't even. So after that, we didn't even touch. That's the promotion marketing. Now we didn't even touch where I. Yeah, we didn't go to DJ Rasheed. You didn't go to Fleet yet.
I haven't gone into anything. I've literally just sat here.
Listen, like
you've been conducting and doing the interview.
That's another, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother level of street, not even street teams. Massachusetts right now got a whole mass fleet DJs, right? We just brought it to a whole nother level.
Well, what I want to even do is like I want to guarantee like what's scheduled up like 3 months from now to like to get a second interview.
Yeah. We can do that. We can do that because
can we pick it up from like right here,
right?
And go
instead of just rushing it.
I don't want to because you have so. I want to ask you about Eminem.
Right. There's things I need to know.
That's a whole nother level
of the thing. I have like just so much.
I was in Auburn Hills, Michigan when that Up in Smoke tour. They said they had to like shut it down because of that violent video or something.
Listen, I
got questions. I got many of them.
Hoffit was crazy. I mean, so have you seen the tour, right? Remember the kids that was on the bike, bike with Snoop Dogg on the thing? Yeah. Bro, listen.
Yes.
These little motherfuckers was off the chain. Like, these niggas, they motherfuckers was getting their dick sucked in the elevators and some more shit. It was crazy, bro. Like, crazy. I'm like, look, nigga, how old are you? 14? Like, what the fuck? It was crazy, bro. Crazy. Nate Dogg got like 6 chicks with him with the Hennessy and shit coming through. It was crazy, bro. Fucking crazy, bro. That shit was just crazy.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We have to, when we stop, we have to just book it now to have you on every month. Yeah, we got to get like a couple more people on, but like,
you gotta get Bobby Hill on. Bobby Hill, if he comes from Island, you gotta get Bobby Hill on, cause Bobby has that exclusive too. Cause see, he'll come in with the Perfect Gentleman side of things, and with Uncle Maurice, and then the situation that's happening now, right?
Well, you could talk to him. We bring you two together. You can bring him through.
Yeah,
if you want
definitely.
To do that.
That shit would be crazy, bro. And then you got cats like that's in California. You got like Big Chuck. So remember, Big Chuck is connected to with Benzino on them. The whole shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother level of shit of history that you would get from OGs that started this shit.
Would you ever think about doing like a series?
That'd be hot.
Like a 10-part series on this or something like that. Like,
we could do that.
That's what I'm thinking right now. Like,
that'd be hot.
Because I could actually do some research. And
you do the research and put it together.
Real shit together. Like, you could like produce a 10-part series and like just put it out.
Yeah, put it out.
As a podcast, like this. Yeah, we could do it right now.
This shit right here is hot. Because like I said, this is the first time I ever spoke on any, especially this Nuke shit. I never spoke on this. This is the first time.
It's crazy.
Ever.
And like our platform is big, but the people that should hear this is like it's bigger than what our platform is. But we need to put something together. We can like put a little bit of like there's something here. If you're willing to sit down and do like the whole story, I'm definitely willing to. We can definitely figure something out.
Very interesting.
It'd be like a nice little side project for Big Dookie Chain to do like a little 10-part series like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'd love it. I mean,
it's because this is like blowing my mind. Like, and I don't know how it couldn't. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how it's. I don't know. It's a lot of shit there, man.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked more than like.
It's crazy, and even
I said nothing. I mean,
but we
like 5 things.
We definitely want to do that 10-part series because now you got so just like Marie, right, from 106 & Park, right, Free, right.
Yeah.
So she was in our camp at one time under management. You know what I'm saying, with Travis and them. She was rehearsing over there. She was in a girl group. You know what I'm saying? That Travis was managing at the time, right? And then she turned around and she blew up.
Yeah.
She went and did her own
She
thing.
was a Cannabis album and everything.
And did her own thing, right? Because Free was fire. Even back then, even when she was in the group. But she already had her own special talents. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot, man. I like I said, I remember when Smoke Boja came. I remember his people came to us 2006 and was like, yo, man, listen, he's going to be blowing up, such and such. We need your street team to handle this. Now, that's when Brandon came on board. Brandon.
All right, we got to stop right here. I want to start back with you on the street team and all that shit. We're gonna go from there.
Yeah,
so can you do us a favor and just look into this camera right here? Tell anybody any information where they can find you. You know, socials,
definitely,
all that stuff.
It's what the heavyweight DJ Rasheed from the Worldwide Fleet DJs, World Famous Bomb Squad. You can follow me on IG at DJ_Rasheed1. Same thing on Twitter at DJ Rasheed1. And that's the best place to hit me, man. So if you got anything up there you want to do, hit me up, man. You can go, if you want to send me music, send it to massfleetdjs@gmail.com. You know what it is.
Man, that was one of the most interesting conversations I've ever done. I've ever listened to.
It's like I sat down and read a book, or like the first couple chapters of a book.
Crazy.
Beginnings of a lot of things. Like and subscribe. It's the Big Dookie Chain.
Sense lives, money forever. Fuck her chilling. Peace.